Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back and thank you for supporting me. I'm Coretta. In this video, I will be showing how to design and sublimate a pin back button using Cricut Design Space. Come on y'all, let's get started. For this project, I will be using sublimation buttons with the pin attachment, A-Sub sublimation paper, heat tape, alcohol, and butcher paper. I will leave a list of the items in the description of this video. So here in Cricut Design Space, I am going to design the image that I want to be on the pin button. These are going to be graduation pin buttons for my nephew who will be graduating this year. I am going to add the same images that I used from a previous video. To add my images, I am going to select upload on the left toolbar. I'm going to select upload image. I'm going to select browse. I am going to navigate to where the images are located, and I am going to select my images. And then I'm going to select open. This screen is showing the image I uploaded, so I'm going to select continue on the bottom right. On this screen, you would remove the background. The background for my images have already been removed, but if you need to remove the background from your images, if you have Cricut access, you can do it under the background remover. And if you don't, then you would manually do it using these tools here. You can also use the website remove.bg. I will leave a link to a video in the description that shows you how to remove backgrounds from your images with remove.bg. So since there is nothing for me to do here, I'm going to select apply and continue in the bottom right. On this screen, I am going to select flat graphics, and then I'm going to select continue on the bottom right. On this screen is your image detail. I am not going to do anything on this screen either, and so I'm going to select upload. So now the image is on the screen, and I am just going to follow the same process that I followed to upload my other image. Now that I have my images, I am going to create a template for my pin button. So on the left toolbar, I am going to select shapes. I am going to select a circle, and I'm going to select that 3 times so that I will have 3 circles. And then I am going to select shapes again to close the window. So next, I am going to take one of the circles and I am going to size it to 3 inches because my button is 3 inches. And so I am going to size this to 3 inches. To size it, I am going to make sure that my circle is selected, and then on the top menu, on the top toolbar under size, I am going to make sure that the lock proportion is locked, and then I'm going to change my width to 3 and hit enter. And that changes my circle to 3 inches in width and 3 inches in height. This 3-inch circle will represent the face of the pin button. So that you can follow along with what I'm going to be doing, I am going to change the color to green. So making sure the circle is selected, on the top toolbar, I'm going to select the color swatch, which is next to operations, and then I'm going to select the color green. I'm going to click anywhere on the canvas to close it. Next, I'm going to create a bleed for the print. The bleed will help me to ensure that I get full coverage on the pen button. To create the bleed, I am going to select another circle, and I am going to change that size to 3.5 inches. So on the top toolbar under size with the lock proportion locked, I'm going to change my width to 3.5 and hit enter. I am then going to change this color to orange. So again, selecting my circle on the top toolbar, I'm going to select the color swatch, and then I'm going to change it to orange. And then I'm going to click anywhere on the canvas to close it. Next, I am going to move the green circle on top of the orange circle. So I need to arrange it to the front. So on the top toolbar, I clicked arrange, and then I'm going to click bring to front. And then I'm going to arrange the green circle on top of the orange circle. Then I am going to align them center. To align them, I am going to select both of the circles. And then on the top toolbar under align, I'm going to select center. Next, I'm going to size my background to 3.75 inches proportionately. This is going to make sure that my background design is not sized too big or too small for my pen button. So selecting my background, let me move that over here. Selecting my background, I am going to go up to size, make sure that the lock proportion is locked, and then I'm going to change it to 3.75 and hit enter. So what I want to do is I am going to position the background behind the orange circle. I am going to select both of the circles and the background, and then I'm going to align them center by going to the top toolbar, selecting align and align center. So then on the layers panel, I am going to locate the orange circle. So I'm going to select the orange circle, and then while holding down my shift key, I'm going to select the background layer as well. Then on the bottom of the layers panel, I am going to select slice. After it has sliced, I am going to delete the orange circle. So I'm going to select it and then select it from the layers panel, and then hit delete on my keyboard. And then I'm going to delete the unwanted part of the background. So I'm going to select that part on the layers panel, and then I'm going to hit delete. And that leaves me with a 3.5 inch circle for my background. Next, I'm going to select the green layer on the layers panel, and I am going to arrange it to the front. So going to the top menu, I'm going to select arrange, and then I'm going to select bring to front. The green circle is where the design will go, because this is the part that will show on the pen button, leaving the outer part as the bleed, so there's no white on the button. So for my design, I'm going to add text and pictures of my nephew. Well, one picture of my nephew. To add text, I'm going to select text on the left toolbar. When the text box opens, I am going to type congrats in all caps. I'm going to change the font. So selecting anywhere on the canvas and then selecting my font, I'm going to go to the top menu under font, and I am going to select font, I'm going to select System because I want to see the fonts that are on my computer. And for this word, I want to use the font Freshman. So I'm going to type Freshman in the search bar, and then I'm going to select Freshman. Once my font is selected, I'm going to click anywhere on the canvas to close it. So now that I've selected my font, I want to add a curve to the word congrats. So making sure that congrats is selected, I am going to go on the font menu and I am going to select curve. I am going to change my curve to 70. And then I'm going to click anywhere on the canvas to close it. I am going to select congrats again, and then I am going to change the color. So on the top toolbar, I'm going to select the color swatch, and I am going to select blue. And then I'm going to select the canvas to close it. I'm going to select it again, select congrats again, and then I'm just going to size it down and then place it on my template to see where I like it. So I'm just going to size it down. Next, I am going to add the picture. I want the bottom of the picture to curve like the bottom of the circle. And to get this, I am going to select the last circle and I am going to size it to 3 inches. So on the top toolbar, make sure that the lock proportion is locked, and then I'm going to size this to 3 inches. I'm going to size and position the picture onto the circle. I'm going to align the circle and the picture horizontally, and I'm going to align it to the bottom. So selecting both the circle and the picture, I'm going to go to the top toolbar, select Align, and I'm going to center horizontally. I'm going to select Align again, and I'm going to align to bottom. I'm going to select both the circle and the picture, and on the bottom of the layers panel, I am going to select Slice. After the slice, I am going to delete the unwanted parts. Then I'm going to position it onto my template, and then I'm just going to size it the way that I like it. I'm going to add the remaining text. After adding my text, I am going to add an offset. To add an offset, I'm going to bring this up some so you guys can see it. So to add an offset, I am going to select the word congrats, and then I'm going to go to the top toolbar. I'm going to select offset, and then I'm going to change my offset distance to 0.050. You can also change it by using the slider bar. I'm going to select the sharp corners, and then I'm going to select apply. The default color for my offset is black, and so I'm going to change this to yellow. I am going to apply an offset to the remaining text. Now that I have finished designing the button, I am going to go to the layers panel and I am going to select the green circle layer. And I don't need this anymore. And so I am just going to select the eyeball, the eye over here, and I'm just going to hide it. Next, I am going to select the entire design and the background. And then on the bottom of the layers panel, I'm going to select flatten. Because I will be making more than one of these buttons, I am just going to duplicate it. So to duplicate it, I'm going to select the design, and on the top of the layers panel, I am going to select the second icon, which is duplicate. Now I am ready to print. So I am going to select make it in the upper right corner. On this screen, I have my print then cut mat. At this point, I will not be mirroring my image, and I am going to let my printer settings mirror the image. And so I am just going to select continue on the bottom right. Next, I am going to select send to printer. I'm going to select next. I am going to select my sublimation printer. I am going to turn off my bleed. And I am going to turn on my system dialog. And then I'm going to hit print. Once the system dialog box opens, I am going to select my sublimation printer. I am going to select preferences. I am going to select my A-Sub 8.5 by 11 premium presentation matte presetting. I'm going to make sure that my document size says 8.5 by 11. It's on portrait. My paper type is premium presentation matte. My quality is high. I'm going to select more options on the top tab. And then I'm going to check to make sure that my high speed is unchecked. So my high speed is not checked. And my mirror image is checked. And then I'm going to select OK. And then I'm going to select print. So the designs are printed and I am going to apply them to the button. So I am going to remove the plastic protection cover from the buttons. And I saw Marilyn on Make It with Marilyn use masking tape to help remove the protective film. And she said that this is to remove the plastic film with the masking tape so that you don't scratch your, there it goes, so that you don't accidentally scratch your, substrate. And so you want to use the masking tape, and it's going to help pick off the protective film. And so I'm going to do that for both of these. Okay, this one's kind of hard. There it goes. Okay, so I removed the plastic film off of the buttons. So these are the buttons. I am going to use some alcohol to wipe them down. And so I'm going to spray the alcohol away from my print so that I don't get any alcohol on my sublimation print. And I'm just going to take it and wipe it off real good. And this is going to remove any residue, hand oils from it being handled when they were probably making it. And so I'm just going to use some alcohol here to clean that off. And dry them. Okay, next, so I have my sublimation prints. I printed this from Cricut, and so it has the registration lines. Cricut does not have a way to turn off the registration lines, and so I am going to cut these out because I want to make sure that I do not get any of, I just want to make sure that I don't get any of the registration marks on anything. And I'd rather be safe now than sorry later. And so I'm just going to cut off the registration marks. Okay. So now I am going to place my pin button face down. This is the sublimation side. I'm going to place it face down, and I want it to line up right here at the bottom of the cap and gown picture here. So I want it to line up right there, and so I'm just going to place it down right there. And then once I get it placed down and centered how I want it, then I'm just going to tape it down. And so I am going to use heat tape to tape it down. And you guys know me, I am going to use a lot of heat tape because I want to make sure that my blank and my paper stay together. So I'm just going to use a lot of heat tape over here. I feel like the tape is cheaper than the blank. So if I get the blank laid down correctly, then I won't have to worry about purchasing a new one where I can get heat tape for a little of nothing. So that's my logic on why I use a lot of heat tape. So again, with this one, I'm just going to line it up. Then I'm going to put the heat tape down. Okay, so I have them taped down. So now let's head over to the heat press so we can press them and see how they come out. Okay, so here I am at the heat press, and I have the buttons on the mat. On my mat, I actually have a piece of butcher paper, and I have it double since we have this bleed. I don't want any of the ink to get past the first sheet, so I folded it in half so that I can catch the ink. I'm going to be sublimating them, but I'm going to sublimate them one at a time so that I can make sure that I get even pressure, because these are made out of MDF board, and I don't know if the thickness is the same. And so I'm just going to sublimate them one at a time. So putting my button down on the heat press, I have my sublimation paper facing up, and then I'm going to cover it with some butcher paper, and I am going to press this at 400 degrees for 60 seconds. Okay, so the first one has sublimated, I'm going to move this off of the heat press, and then I'm going to do the second one. So I'm going to put the second one on my heat press. I'm going to cover it with butcher paper. And then I'm going to press this one at 400 degrees for 60 seconds. Okay, so I have both of the pins sublimated, and so I'm just going to remove the tape. And let me take a peek. Okay, all right. Let's get them both unwrapped, and then I'm going to reveal them at the same time. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Look, y'all. Look at them. They came out so nice. Look at him. I can't believe my baby is graduating. Oh, it came out so nice. Look at that. That is so nice. Wow. Okay. So now that I have them sublimated, let me keep going with the video. The MDF pin buttons came with the pin that you use to attach the button with. And so I'm just going to take out two. They already have the adhesive backing on them, so you don't have to add any glue or anything to them. They already have the glue backing on them. And so that's the pin. And so basically you want to add these to the back of your pin. So I'm going to turn them over, and then I just want to make sure that I place them down with the top down, and then I'm going to put the pin about right there, not quite in the middle. And so I'm just going to peel off the paper, the double-sided tape paper, and then I want to make sure that I put the pin on the right way. So I want, this is the where the pin, the button, the face of the button, and then I'm going to put the pin on this way. And so I'm just going to stick it down right there. Hopefully it's aligned in the middle, because you want to make sure that it is aligned in the middle. So you just want to press it down real hard. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this one over here. I'm going to take the paper off. Oh. And then I'm going to align the pin with the button face. And I'm just going to align it in the center right there. And then I'm just going to push it down. Okay, guys, I think these look really, really good. What do you guys think? Oh my God, they are so pretty. Leave me a message in the comments and tell me what you think. Will you be making pin buttons this graduation season? All right, guys, that's all for now. I hope that you were able to follow along with my process. If you like this video and would like to see more, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will respond back. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.